Hi everyone, and welcome a few minutes late to our December virtual homeowner maintenance. Today, the topic will be worth the wait. It is air infiltration, and here we have 5-star Mark here with us. But as always, don't forget to participate, ask us questions, and we'll announce the winner of a $50 gift card on Facebook. And here's Mark. Woo!
Hey, good afternoon or morning. I should say it is a chilly morning. That is for certain. Like the last few days has been very, very chilly. No question about that. I don't care for the cold weathers anymore. I was born and raised in inner city Minneapolis, taught in Montana for 17 years. And I'll tell you, when you get to my age, the cold, it is chilled to the bone. It's cold. So, and these are not even cold temperatures of the things that I did basically participate in those lovely states of Montana and Minnesota. So today we're going to talk about air infiltration. It is those beloved nice little breezes coming out with the winter times and the cold issues and the snow, and you got Christmas going on, you got all those nice little fun things, and you feel always cold in your home or whatever the case may be. So how do you make yourself more comfortable, especially if you're coming in from other climates? You know, you moved from, let's say, Arizona, where in Phoenix it's always like 90 plus degrees, and you come up here and you go, wow, yeah, because you're not totally, you know, climatized, we'll say, or however you want to say it, with the issue of the temperature here. Sure, you're just flat out not used to it. So what can we do to make it more comfortable in your homes? Okay, so homeowner maintenance, that's the key. So with that being said, let's go with the fact of, let's look at the concept, what is known as air infiltration around receptacle covers and switch plates. So I always say to my folks, well, you can go to the orange store or the blue store that I've been at, and we find certain products that you certainly can use. Well, ironically, let's talk about outlets first. I picked this up this morning. It has to deal with outlets themselves, and it simply says outlet sealers, and basically that's exactly what we want to do. We want to basically open up a receptacle cover. I'm not going to be doing it to this home. This one happens to be sold, but I'm going to go through the process of exactly what you need to do. So we got our little outlet cover sealant, or insulation gaskets, as sometimes referred to. So I'm going to use my little knife here, and I'm going to cut this open. I will pull out a section right here of one. They probably come in a pack of 5 or 6 to a package, if I'm not mistaken. Orange store or blue store, whatever you feel comfortable with, they all have the same type of product. You can feel free to venture through. Pricing, I don't know right offhand what they go for. This happens to be a perforated one. You can get ones that are already cut out specifically to the size. Yes, they happen to be a little bit more expensive. This happens to be, like I say, you got a perforated edge. I'm going to tear this apart. You can see, and if you look really, really close at this, you can tell where the layout is for the receptacle, and also the little layout for that particular mounting screw. So this one happens to be, we're going to go for the typical layout for a standard receptacle that would be in a home. Now, again, this particular product one here, I consider it a little bit inexpensive because you actually have to tear out the ones that fit and so on. Are they the best? No. Are they the worst? No, they're kind of the middle of the road kind of thing. So I'm going to tear this open here. I got it to fit that particular scenario that we got going on. So in turn, I pull this particular receptacle cover off. With that being said, you would therefore set that right in underneath this particular plastic cover, and in turn set that right on top of that receptacle. Then put your cover right back on, and you are good to go. This will now seal this particular aspect of the junction box or the receptacle completely dried out, we'll say, or feeling the cool air coming through. If I can impose on someone, actually, someone who's new with us for CBH Homes, maybe I can have them come over and just kind of testify to you feel something cool or a draft coming through here. Here we got a new young lady here. Her name is Maddie. So lo and behold, I'm going to say, hey, Maddie, do you feel something coming through that receptacle cover there?
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little draft.
A little draft coming through. So you take that little draft now and let's multiply it through the entire house. Does that add up? And the answer is obviously yes, it will. So pulling that cover off, sitting this back on top of that, putting your cover back on, will therefore alleviate or remove that issue of that cold draft coming through. And thank you again for testifying to this scenario we have going on. So that is one issue. Let's say we have the square plug-ins like you would find in the kitchen, dealing with ground fault circuit interrupters. Well, again, if I look at this really, really close, do I see the issue of a square? And yeah, I do. I can pull this apart, pull that down, pull it across on all sides, and next thing you know, hey, we have an opening that will fit the GFCIs, meaning ground fault circuit interrupter. So in turn, if I go to a GFCI plug right here by the range, wow, if I pull that all out, boink, pull that one out, the corners, and in turn, lo and behold, I now fit that GFCI circuit cover exactly the way we want it to fit right on there. And again, you know, can I feel some cool draft? And the answer is, yeah, there's a strong possibility you can. On this particular one, I get a sense, but not as bad as that particular one down there on the floor, okay? So that's for the receptacle covers, specifically them. So we want to do all of them. Inside walls, outside walls. Do every single one, no matter what, okay? So we got that one covered. Let's go to the next. This particular one, this talks specifically about light switches, okay? So in turn, same scenario, I'm gonna pull this out. Hey, I got a little insert here dealing with a concept. Well, do you see the layout there of, oh, we got the square switches and we got the receptacle, or the regular little small toggle switch. So I'm gonna pull that toggle switch portion out. I'm gonna leave everything else in there, just like that. Go to my particular issue of a toggle switch. Will that fit right in there? Yes, it will. Will I need two for this particular box? And the answer is yes, you will. So please be aware of that. You want to do all of them. Even if you happen to have cable TV, you want to cover that box as well. So every single box, every single penetration you might say in a particular home has that potential of air infiltration. Okay, so if that makes sense, I can go to the next concept here, if everybody's good. Okay, next concept. Well, doors. Doors always seem to be a problem. When I was growing up in inner city Minneapolis, my mother always used to say to my dad, Bob, I think you could stick a cat underneath that door. There's so much cold air drafting underneath there, and so on, so on, so on. Well, then you go out there and you got these issues that came out on the market. You got the draft buster here. So you can open up the box, you pull this thing out. And if you have an older home, absolutely, this would work out. If you're a brand new home, something is really not right. So I'm going to walk over to the front door. And by the way, this is actually a gorgeous home here. I don't know if you can pan around and look at things like this, but it is very, very nice. It has super high ceilings. Big, beautiful entryway here. That's where we're going to walk over to, is this entryway. And let's say, in turn, I stand at the door and I stand back, and do I see light through any particular aspects of this door? And the answer is no, I'm not seeing anything, which is fantastic. I'd actually also really get down on my hands and knees here, and I'm looking at that at the threshold, and this is where I'm going to go for. Is the threshold adjusted to the height we need? So with that, on the door, I'll open up the door, and do I hear things of the threshold actually dragging across the door? And the answer is no, I'm not hearing that as much as I should. So what I want to do then at that point is actually with these 4 screws, I can adjust this particular threshold up to create more of a drag under the bottom of the door. So we just simply screwdriver, screw that a few turns, bring it up so I hear more of a particular drag on the door. And that's what we really want, to prevent that cold air from coming in. Again, if you got dirt and dust down there on the floor down in this situation here, and you're constantly cleaning, chances are you have air infiltration. It's just blowing it in right off the street like that. So that should take care of that. Okay, the last one. I know it's going to be a little chilly out here for me and my super camera person, but we got to do what we got to do. Last item. I always talk about if I'm in your home, I said, hey, you might want to consider caulking around the windows. The greatest energy loss on homes, let's face it, is air infiltration, and it's likely coming in and around your windows. I always say to homeowners, how's the windowsill? Do you always have to clean off this windowsill? Even though it's caulked, sealed in on the inside, do we still get air infiltration? And the answer is yes, we do. So how do we handle that problem? Well, this product I use from time to time, obviously. The key is, does it have to be outdoor? Does it have to have this? Does it have to be that? Anything specific? The basic concern is this. I want some sort of latex caulk. I want to make sure it is paintable. I want to make sure it's like me, easy to clean up. I want to be able to clean up my hands and get the things cleaned up very quickly. I don't want to spend a lot of time. I don't want a lot of odor when I'm doing things. Hey, you can get some caulk issues or some silicone that definitely has an odor, that definitely really smells of that, I call it like fingernail polish scenario. Interior, exterior, I can go both scenarios. Can I use it in here on a situation on some trim? Absolutely, that's interior of the home. Exterior, I'm going to show you what we're going to do with that. So, does it have to be 25 years? No, it doesn't have to be 25 years. If it happens to say 35 years, that's fine. If it says 15 years, absolutely, you can go with that. It's whatever you feel comfortable with. Okay, now prepping this. I always consider the issue of prepping the caulk as a scenario as less is more. In other words, how much of a tip do I want to cut off? I always consider a smaller tip as a better scenario. So, take my little utility knife I have. I'm going to go to, obviously not the countertop. I'm going to go to this particular box. I'm going to make a small slice right across this tip. Okay, less is more. All right, now I do go to my little caulking gun. Now my caulking gun has definitely seen better days. It's been around the block at least 3 or 4 times. I mean, I've used this for years and years and years. This is my own personal one. You can tell, obviously. They more than likely have a nice little pokey stick. And the reason for this is there's a plastic film across the top of the interior of the caulk. I need to puncture that. So I'm going to slide this in there, punch it in a few times, make sure I have a nice clean issue of letting the caulk release and out on when I'm installing the caulk. Okay? Next, so I don't get tangled up here, I'm going to step outside and I'll show you exactly what I mean by installing the caulk. All right, here we go. Yes, it's a little nippy out here, but we will tough it out, I think. So, if I look at a particular seam, such as around this particular window right here, definitely we can get air infiltration through this. Get the winds blowing, you got things going around, so what do I want to do? Obviously white. This happens to be white. It works out very well. Take my caulking gun and I'm just going right down the line. Nice, clean, consistent bead of caulk. Yes, I will layer it in if I have to. Absolutely. Okay, next. I personally use my little index finger and I could just simply wipe down that particular edge and you get a nice, clean bead all the way down the line. Underneath windows, this is a must. Same issue at hand. I'm going to just simply take my caulk and I'm going to bead it across just like this. If I have to go back, I'm going to do it again And as long as I get a nice consistent bead all the way across, I'm going to be a happy camper. Okay? Again, my index finger, just simply pull that across, miss a little spot, fill it in, same concerns. Up this particular side, same issues. Again, I'm going to layer it if I have to. Index finger, and I'm good to go. The weep holes you will find on windows, as well as sliding glass doors, need to stay open, okay? Weep holes stay open. They stay open at all times. Obviously, would I do this particular sliding glass door edge? Absolutely. So I want to go down the line on this, reach up, go right on down this line, and I want to just simply seal that in. Use my index finger. Missed a little spot here, it looks like just a smidgen, and I'm good to go. Now you're going to point at the fact of, wow, there's this piece of metal up here. What do I do there? That is referred to as a drip edge. The drip edge you can caulk on top of. Feel free to do so. In between your sliding glass door and that drip edge, nothing will go in there. Absolutely nothing. You do not want to put caulk in there, okay? No matter what. Only on top and never in between, dealing with caulking around doors and windows. So, with that, I think we're done on the outside, so we can take it in. Do we have any questions offhand?
Yes.
Yes, we have questions.
We were wondering if you keep those outlet covers on outlet all year.
Absolutely. It'll go two ways. The best part, yes, heating. Oh man, Maddie, she felt the cold air coming in, fantastic. But in turn, do we also have the same scenario in the summertime? Let's say it's 103 outside and the wind is blowing. Will we get the hot air coming into the homes? Absolutely. Again, heating, cooling cost is the issue. You want to control the environment that you're living in this space. So it'll go both ways, no question about that. Any other questions?
That was it? Okay, let's wrap it up. Okay, thank you everyone for joining us again this December, and we will see you in January for our next month. And keep an eye out on Facebook. We'll announce the winner of the gift card within the next 24 hours. Thank you.